It's Ash from SuperVideos back for another video for The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. In this video, we're going to be going through the reveals that came in the premiere episode as far as Rick's escape plans, whether he's currently looking to escape or whether he's loyal to the CRM. So stay tuned, we'll be right back to break this down. Alright, as always, before we dive into it, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that said, let's dive right into it. Now, one of the biggest things that they did reveal about Rick's stay at the CRM is something that fans were concerned about, which is, why does CRM even want Rick? Why is he so special to them? And obviously, they revealed that the reason why Rick is currently at the Civic Republic and he's part of the CRM is because of Lieutenant Donald Okafor. He used his status within the CRM to basically keep Rick there. Now, why does he want Rick there? It's because he sees Rick as a leader who can help him in his cause. We're going to talk a little bit more about that on a separate video, but in this video, we're specifically going to focus on Rick's escape, not necessarily about why Okafor wanted Rick to stay there. But obviously, Donald Okafor saw Rick as an asset to him and his cause. And that's why the CRM spent that much resources to keep him there. Now, another important thing to note here is that Rick has tried to escape 5 times in total. We're going to come back to that in a bit, but Donald Okafor early on in the episode said something to Rick that was definitely an Easter egg and something that we heard in The Walking Dead's main show in the final episode. Donald Okafor said, "There is no escape for the living." And that's important because that's exactly what the pilot on the helicopter told Rick when we saw him try to escape in the post-credit scene of the series finale. The pilot said, "Remember what he told you, there is no escape for the living." And the he obviously refers to Donald Okafor. A lot of people thought that they were talking about Major General Beale, but no. He was actually referring to Donald Okafor, which is definitely super interesting. But, of course, this would have been his 3rd escape plan, as it was revealed. So Rick tried to escape 2 times before this, both of which failed. And, of course, this time it failed as well because they arrested him and brought him back. And when they brought him back, because of Donald Okafor's status and because he wanted Rick there, they spent more resources to make sure Rick doesn't try to escape. So when they were in the woods, they put chains on Rick's hand, but nobody else, because like they said, nobody wants to go. Everyone wants to get in. You're the only one that wants to go. But of course, CRM wouldn't necessarily want to spend resources on someone if they don't need to. So the reason why they did it is because Donald Okafor wanted Rick there and he had enough power and leverage to make it happen. But of course, Rick tries to escape once again for the 4th time now by chopping off his own hand. But of course, as we saw, that failed as well, and Rick still was unable to escape from the CRM. Yet, they still kept him there. And we know that after that moment, there were tons of times when Rick went through a dark time, when he tried to commit suicide. Of course, the one that they focused a lot more on was this scene right here, where he had the glass in hand and wanted to cut his throat and kill himself. And obviously, he wasn't able to go through with it. And the reason for that is because he was unsure about what would happen to the people that he loves back home if he does. Because at that point, obviously, he had heard that CRM possibly destroyed the entire community of Omaha to keep their secrets and to basically eliminate the competition. Rick, not knowing how much they actually know about where he's from, he might have been concerned that they might do the exact same thing to Alexandria. And I think that was the key reason why he stopped and wasn't able to go through with killing himself. But I think at some point, Rick realized that he needs to go from someone who's just trying to survive day by day, trying to come up with an escape plan that ultimately will fail, to someone who has enough power, is in a position where he's got a higher chance of a successful escape plan. And I think this scene where he looks at the helicopter is him realizing that he needs to get into the CRM military, get himself a helicopter, and then maybe he's able to escape. So we see Rick do exactly that. We see Rick join the CRM, and then he goes from a prisoner to a soldier. And that's definitely a great transition and a great character progression for Rick. And I absolutely loved seeing it. And of course, we know that Rick didn't stop there, being just a soldier. We know that he took trainings to become a pilot for the CRM. Now, we don't know whether that was his decision or Donald Okafor who wanted him to be a pilot, but I'm sure Rick wouldn't mind to become a pilot and get himself an actual helicopter so that maybe there'll be an even better chance of escaping. Rick, at some point, gets himself a helicopter, but he doesn't necessarily use the helicopter to escape. We see him craft this pretty sophisticated plan with the help of his friend Esteban to use one of the missions that they have as a distraction to escape. He finds someone who is burnt, who has a CRM uniform on. He cuts off its hand to make it look like it's him, and he even puts his dog tags next to the body in order to stage his death and pretty much make the CRM and Donald Okafor think that he died. The reason for that is obviously if he died, then they're not going to look for him, and they don't have a reason to go attack Alexandria, because if he died, then there's no secrets getting out. So that was his plan, and obviously what stopped it was seeing this little girl. So Rick's humanity prevented him from being selfish and trying to escape. And of course, by doing that, he did a few things. One, he obviously has to return, but also he risked the life of his friend Esteban, because now that Pearl Thorne knows what Rick was planning, she might tell everyone about the plan, and they might dig and find out that Esteban is the one that helped Rick, assisted him in trying to escape. Now, we don't exactly know how much Pearl Thorne saw and whether she knows anything is up with Rick and Esteban, but that's something that we haven't really seen, and there might be a scene later where they might explain maybe he was imprisoned or even executed for assisting Rick or something along those lines. But at the same time, if that happens, then they would know Rick tried to escape again. But I think at that point, Rick finally gives up. He comes to a realization that this is his life now. He even says in the voiceover that he doesn't see Michonne anymore. He sees the future with the CRM. So I think that everything that Donald Okafor told Rick finally gets to him. And he finally breaks down and is finally submissive to the CRM and their cause. And I think that's why he burns all the phones with Michonne and Judith's face on it and the letters, because that's his way forward. That's the only way he can actually survive and no longer think about escaping. Rick would have probably joined the CRM for the good if it wasn't for what happened at the end of the episode where they are attacked and Donald Okafor ends up getting killed. And obviously he is reunited with Michonne, who was responsible for killing Donald Okafor, or at least her crew was. And I think this single moment is the moment Rick finally decides he will never join CRM and he wants to be with Michonne and his family. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that Rick did call for backup after the helicopter crash. So I don't think that there's a lot of time for Rick and Michonne to really find a way to escape for good. And we still don't know how much Donald Okafor told everyone about what he knows about Rick's people, Michonne, Judith, and everyone, and Alexandria, obviously. So at this point, I don't think it's a smart move for Rick and Michonne to just escape. So I think that they're gonna strategize on a way where they can basically keep things as status quo, for Rick to go back to CRM and figure out what's going on and where he stands as far as how much of his secrets are known to the people at the CRM and Major General Beale himself. But that's pretty much everything I wanted to go through in this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.